Did you know that by the age of 30, Alexander the Great had created one of the largest empires in the world? Yes, it's true. Alexander the Great, born in the 4th century BC, was a leader whose name is synonymous with conquest and power. Considered one of the most successful military commanders in history, Alexander's influence extended far beyond the boundaries of his empire. His remarkable life story is filled with tales of bravery, strategy, and sheer determination. But beyond the battlefield, Alexander was a pioneer in many ways, promoting the spread of Greek culture and establishing cities that thrived on intellectual and cultural exchange. His conquests not only reshaped the political landscape of his time, but also left a lasting legacy that continues to inspire and intrigue us even today. So brace yourselves, history enthusiasts. Join us as we delve into the life of this extraordinary leader. Alexander's journey started in 356 BC in the ancient city of Pella. Born to King Philip II of Macedonia and Queen Olympias, young Alexander was destined for greatness from the very start. He was introduced to the world of knowledge, power, and ambition from an early age, shaping his character and future endeavors. His childhood was far from ordinary. From the tender age of 13, Alexander was tutored by none other than the esteemed philosopher Aristotle. This was a strategic move by his father, who believed that a king must be educated in the ways of the world. Aristotle, a former student of Plato and a man of vast knowledge, was the perfect person to shape the young prince's mind. Imagine the scene: Aristotle and Alexander, under the shade of a tree, discussing everything from philosophy and ethics to politics and science. Aristotle's teachings went beyond books and theories. He instilled in Alexander a deep love for literature, a keen understanding of politics and governance, and a curiosity for the natural world. He even introduced Alexander to the works of Homer, sparking a lifelong admiration for the epic hero Achilles. Aristotle also nurtured Alexander's warrior spirit. He taught him the importance of strategy, discipline, and courage in a world where power was won and lost on the battlefield. It wasn't all about physical strength. It was about using your mind to outsmart your opponents, to think several steps ahead, and to seize opportunities when they presented themselves. The influence of Aristotle on Alexander was profound. This wasn't just an education, it was a molding of a future king, a future conqueror. Alexander's thirst for knowledge, his strategic mind, and his passion for conquest were all honed during these formative years under Aristotle's tutelage. Thus, Alexander's childhood and education were not merely stages of his life. They were the building blocks of the man he was to become, a man of remarkable intellect, indomitable spirit, and unquenchable ambition. This solid foundation set the stage for his later conquests. Ascending to the throne at 20, Alexander embarked on an astonishing campaign of conquest. This young king, fueled by an insatiable thirst for glory and dominion, set his eyes on the vast Persian Empire, a formidable power that had long been a thorn in the side of his Greek homeland. The first significant battle of his campaign was the Battle of Granicus. It was here, on the banks of the Granicus River, that Alexander's military genius shone for the first time. Despite facing a larger Persian army, Alexander led his troops to a resounding victory. This battle marked the beginning of his unstoppable march across Asia Minor. From Granicus, Alexander pressed on to the heart of the Persian Empire. The decisive Battle of Issus saw Alexander and his men pitted against the Persian king, Darius III, himself. Against overwhelming odds, Alexander emerged victorious, shattering the might of the Persian army and sending King Darius fleeing for his life. Following this victory, Alexander set his sights on Egypt, a wealthy province of the Persian Empire. The Egyptians, weary of Persian rule, welcomed Alexander as a liberator. Here he founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a beacon of Hellenistic culture and one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. But Alexander's thirst for conquest was far from quenched. He turned his gaze eastward, towards the exotic lands of India. In the blistering heat of the Punjab, he faced King Porus in the Battle of Hydaspes. In one of the most brutal battles of his campaign, Alexander's forces once again emerged victorious. However, the cost in lives was great, and his weary troops pleaded with him to end the campaign. Throughout his conquests, Alexander displayed remarkable tactical acumen and a knack for inspiring his troops. He often led from the front, fighting alongside his men and sharing in their hardships. His leadership, coupled with his relentless ambition, made him an unstoppable force on the battlefield. Alexander's campaign of conquest lasted a mere decade, but in that time, he carved out one of the largest empires the world had ever seen, stretching from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. He had fulfilled his dream of avenging the Persian invasions of Greece and had gone beyond, conquering lands his people had only dreamed of. Yet it was not just through military might that Alexander left his mark. As he swept across continents, he spread Greek culture and language, forever altering the cultural landscape of the regions he conquered. He founded numerous cities, many of which bore his name, and these cities became centers of learning and culture. But like all mortals, Alexander was not invincible. His relentless campaigning took a toll on his health, and his dream of reaching the ends of the world remained unfulfilled. His early death at the age of 32 brought his remarkable campaign of conquest to an abrupt end. His ambition knew no bounds, leading him to conquer one empire after another. Despite his early death, Alexander's legacy as a military genius and cultural visionary endures to this day. His conquests reshaped the world, laying the groundwork for the Hellenistic age and influencing countless civilizations that followed. No matter how many centuries pass, Alexander the Great remains a towering figure in history, a testament to the extraordinary power of human ambition and the indelible mark it can leave on the world. Beyond his military achievements, Alexander was a promoter of Greek culture. His conquests were not merely about expanding the boundaries of his empire, but also about spreading the influence of Greek civilization far and wide. Alexander believed in the power of education, arts, and philosophy, and he strived to instill these values in the territories he conquered. He didn't just want to be known as a conqueror, but also as a builder of cities. Throughout his campaign, he founded numerous cities, the most famous of which was Alexandria in Egypt. These cities weren't just administrative centers, they were hubs of learning and cultural exchange. They were designed following the Greek model, with theaters, gymnasiums, and libraries. They were places where Greek scholars, scientists, and artists thrived, where new ideas were born, and where knowledge was shared and preserved. But Alexander's cultural influence was not just limited to the cities he founded. He encouraged the fusion of Greek and local cultures in the territories he conquered, a process known as Hellenization. He promoted intermarriages between his Greek soldiers and local women, and he himself married a Persian princess. He adopted local customs and encouraged his men to do the same. He wanted to build a new world where Greek and local cultures coexisted harmoniously. This cultural exchange had a profound impact on the ancient world. It led to the emergence of Hellenistic culture, a blend of Greek and Eastern traditions that flourished long after Alexander's death. It influenced art, literature, philosophy, and science. It gave birth to a new era of intellectual and cultural dynamism. Alexander's cultural legacy also extended to the field of language. He made Greek the lingua franca of his empire, making it the language of administration, commerce, and scholarship. This facilitated communication and cultural exchange among different peoples and played a crucial role in the spread of Greek culture. He also had a lasting impact on the perception of leadership. His charisma, strategic genius, and personal bravery set a standard for future leaders. He was viewed as a heroic figure, a model of courage and ambition. His deeds were celebrated in stories, plays, and artworks, inspiring countless leaders and conquerors throughout history. But perhaps the most significant aspect of Alexander's legacy is the spirit of exploration and discovery he embodied. His journey to the ends of the known world instilled a sense of wonder and curiosity in those who came after him. It inspired them to venture beyond their known horizons, to seek new knowledge, and to strive for greatness. His legacy extended far beyond the borders of his empire, influencing generations to come. He was not just a conqueror, but a cultural visionary. His influence shaped the course of history, and his spirit continues to inspire us even today. Despite his successes, Alexander's life came to an abrupt end in 323 BC. At the age of merely 32, he succumbed to a sudden illness. The circumstances surrounding his death remain a mystery, forming a thread of intrigue that has fascinated historians and researchers for centuries. Some speculate that he was poisoned, while others suggest that he may have contracted a deadly disease. Regardless of the cause of death, the sudden loss of this formidable leader sent shockwaves throughout his vast empire. Following his death, the empire Alexander had painstakingly built was left without a clear heir. This vacuum of power led to a period of great uncertainty and turmoil. His empire, which stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far as India, was suddenly leaderless, setting the stage for a power struggle of epic proportions. His generals, once united under Alexander's leadership, now turned on each other in a desperate bid for power. This division led to the Wars of the Diadochi, a series of conflicts fought by Alexander's generals, each vying for control of different parts of the empire. These wars would fundamentally alter the political landscape of the ancient world, fragmenting Alexander's once unified empire into several Hellenistic kingdoms. These kingdoms, though separate, continued to bear the imprint of Alexander's influence, spreading Greek culture and ideals throughout their territories. The impact of Alexander's death extended far beyond the immediate aftermath. His sudden demise and the subsequent division of his empire marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. His death marked a turning point in history, influencing the course of events for centuries to come. In the absence of his leadership, Alexander's empire might have crumbled, but his legacy endured. His life and achievements became the stuff of legend, influencing countless leaders throughout history. From Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte, many of the world's greatest conquerors have sought to emulate Alexander's strategies and accomplishments. His influence can be seen in the spread of Hellenistic culture, the strategies employed in countless battles, and the continued fascination with his life and reign. Despite his untimely death and the division of his empire, Alexander's influence was indelible. His strategies, his vision, and his unwavering ambition set a standard for leadership and conquest that continues to inspire leaders to this day. His legacy endured, inspiring countless leaders throughout history. Alexander the Great remains one of the most influential leaders in history. A visionary ruler, his thirst for knowledge and conquest was unparalleled. From his education under Aristotle to his incredible military campaigns that stretched from Asia Minor to India, Alexander's impact was profound. He spread Greek culture far and wide, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to inspire. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Alexander the Great. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.